What's going on, everybody? We are back with another video here at Baxter's Down South Customs. Cage, the Hot Rod Hooligan Barber here. And this week we are back to work on the C10 finally. We're going to be doing, starting some body work, getting this thing prepped so we can start getting it back together. That is the plan. So stay tuned, watch, like, comment, subscribe, and see what I will get into on this one. All right, guys, I literally have just finished recording the ending for this particular video. But this little message here, my channel, we've officially become monetized. So I want to say thank you to everybody. All you who subscribed and liked and commented on videos, I appreciate it. It's hard to believe, you know, all y'all want to stick around and kind of watch me build stuff, but it's cool. I like it. So for the future with monetize, I know I ain't gonna make no fortune on this, but any money that we get from the channel goes back into the channel. So any money I get from YouTube, we'll use it just specifically for buying parts or tools or equipment. That's what it's for, or future projects, whatever. That's what I plan to do with my money from YouTube if I make any. You know, I might be making this and only make $1 or $2 a video. But still, that's we can use it for cut off wheels or sanding this, something. You know, we'll figure out something. Anyway, beautiful day here. But y'all watch the video. Hope y'all enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all later. All right, y'all. So we are going to be starting the body work. We're going to go ahead and just start on this passenger side. Like I said, we already got the bed basically stripped down to metal. I've got a low spot here, got a little bit of a crease down here, and there's a little one up here somewheres. And there's, you know, a little dent here, a few little dents here and there. And then we're gonna have to strip this door. We're gonna strip most of this door down to bare metal because, I mean, there's body filler in it and all that. And we'll probably strip a little bit of this back area. We've got a few dents here. And we're going to be starting off with, well, we're going to make this side of the truck look like a porcupine. Went to Harbor Freight, picked up a new stud gun. I actually have one of these already, but my slide hammer has walked away. I'm not sure what happened to it when we moved from our old house to here 5-6 years ago. I've not seen it since before we moved here, so it's been missing for a while. So, and buying just the slide hammer itself, you end up close to the same amount you buy that whole kit for. But those work pretty well for help bringing up low spots, especially when you can't get behind something. But that's their plan right now. We're going to get this door stripped. We're going to strip down a few little spots where we've got a few dents. Start putting in the, you know, hitting them with a stud gun, popping them up. And I still need, of course, I need to get the bed cleaned out. The bed is one of the things we're going to work primarily on right now. Actually, I might not even start that door. But I think I'm going to, well, I got to get the bed cleaned out. But we're going to go ahead and pull off these wheel wells. I mean, you can see how beat up they are. So I was originally had thought about just ordering new ones. They're not bad. I mean, I think a new wheel well is $55 each. I need to check on the shipping. If shipping is not too ungodly, we might go ahead and do that. But if shipping is going to cost me the same amount of the parts, then we're just going to hammer and dolly the crap out of those and smooth them out. Like I said, we're on a budget, so save a few dollars that way. As y'all can see, though, we got this one bedside put on the truck. Now it's got 1 or 2 bolts holding it on. It ain't really bolted together. I wanted to put it on just to see how things were lining up, and everything's lining up great. So that lets me know we done good on our short wheelbase conversion. But yeah, so that's the plan. and trying to figure out where I want to start. Like I said, I've got a few things to do. I think I'm going to start off by just getting this bed cleaned off, or cleaned out, and so we're going to get it, let's see. So we're going to get all this cleaned out. I do still need to, you know, the whole bed floor needs to get like lightly sanded and scuffed and painted. I've actually already, prior off camera, that header had a bunch of little dents in it. We got a lot of those worked out. We're not going to bolt this bed back together just yet until I really body work this panel, the header. We'll, you know, get it off on the sawhorses, set off side, get it sanded and primed. Probably same thing with the bed sides. We'll probably sand and prime them off the bed here. I don't know, we might do them together. Try to decide how I want to do it. I want to get the bed done and together, and we'll probably get the inside of the bed painted. The inside of the bed is going to get that from the N1 coating system from Sweet Patina. It comes in black, white, or tintable, and well, we're going white on the inside. But anyways, without any further ado, let me get to cleaning. All right, guys, we're ready to start making this truck look like a porcupine. All right, for those of you who've never used one of these stud guns, I mean, they're pretty simple. It comes with two different tips. There's the second one. Each tip corresponds to a thickness of stud. You got these thicker ones and thinner ones. I generally like kind of like the thinner ones, but all you do is literally you slide a stud in, and when you're ready to weld, you push this down. You can see it's kind of spring loaded. So you push it against the body, pull the trigger for a few seconds, weld the stud on. Now, a little tip. Overall, this little dent here, you see it's not very large, but you don't want to just put one stud right in the center. You want to put a couple studs around the perimeter and then going towards the middle, because you want to kind of start working this thing out from the outer edge. You don't want to just go to the middle and pull out. You won't get the best results. So your best thing is like start, you know, right here on this outer edge, put one here, here, you know, just spot around. And you're kind of working the dent from the outside. It's the same way if you ever watch somebody do the dentless, the paintless dent repair. When they work them out from the bottom, let me see, where's my marker at? Let's do it this way, easy way to explain. Essentially, if this is your dent, if you start just right at the middle trying to pull it up, what you'll end up with is something, you know, your dent will come over, you'll end up with this hump in the middle, and then you're trying to work all this out. Whereas if you start here on the edge, and then over here, and then you slowly kind of work your way in, your dent's just going to get it'll start working this way where it's a little less shallow. It's the easiest way I can, I guess, explain it. You're just kind of slowly raising it up from the outer edges. Takes a little longer to do it that way. Come on, sorry. But it's the right process to do. One of the benefits, I mean, you end up with a little bit of stretch from the slide hammer, you know, pulling on it. But at the same time, you're also getting a little bit of shrinkage when you're welding these studs in. So it's usually not too bad. But I'm going to go ahead and set this up. We'll go ahead and give you a little demonstration. And then on this first one, other than that, then I'll just start laying the studs to it.
It helps when I put a stud in it. Now the slide hammer is pretty simple. It's just got this little grooved wheel. And you just kind of slide it on and it locks on. Get our gear wrench ducts here. Guess I should have bolted the bed all the way on. God bless it. Let go. My bad. I didn't think about that side falling off. I thought I had a bolt in that end. I guess I didn't. But you kind of get the idea. So I'm going to get this bedside put back on, and we'll continue on. All right, got the bed put back on. Actually got a bolt in it this time. But, I mean, just real quick, I already got most of that dent out. Luckily, when you clip these off, like that one there actually popped right off. I've still got a little bit here, but these get pretty close, so you just grind these down, and you're not putting a hole in it like that old school way. So I want to grind these down where I can get in here with a couple more in different spots. Keep working that dent out, and then we'll move on to the next one. All right. So with just a few more hits, this is a lot better than it was. It was pretty deep. you can see now we don't have much of a gap between that. We've still got a little bit of one. I'll probably do a couple more little studs, work it out a little bit more, but I'm not having any high spots, not where it's sticking out or anything, and just a little bit of a low. I mean, it's still going to take body filler regardless, but now there's a lot less filler going in that spot than what would have been. So what I plan on doing now is I'm going to go around this bed here where I find a little dimp or dipple. Some of them are small, some are a little bigger than others, but I'm just going to go around with a stud gun and just we'll clean up a spot, put a stud in it, see what we can work out. Because we want, personally, when I'm doing body work, I want to put as little filler as possible. A lot of people would literally just wouldn't deal with this. They would just skim over it. I don't want to do that. Like I said, we want to do this right. So, but that's going to be a tomorrow job if I don't get called into work. It's getting a little late. You can see it's already dark out. It's getting cold. But I'll come out here tomorrow. We'll set up on time lapse and go to work. I do still got to figure out the best way on these little rusty ring areas. A little bit of pitted. I'm going to wire wheel them real well. But I'm thinking it's probably going to take like a little muriatic acid or something like that to really get that rust out of there. I don't know. It might sand out. We'll see. I just don't want to get the panel too thin by sanding. But that's our first step. We're going to get all the dents out we can. Then we will hit this with coat of primer. Then we'll go to our body filler. That way our primers or body fillers not directly on metal, which is the way I used to do it all the time. But thinking over it and listening to a few other people, it does make more sense to start your body work on top of your primer for the simple fact the body filler holds moisture. So if you have a real humid day in your shop or whatever, it can soak into that body filler to it a little bit and it'll start rusting from the backside. So this helps kind of protect from that. So that's where we're going to start, even if it's rattle can at this one point, you know, because it'll all get sanded and feathered down and it shouldn't affect. But I'll probably mix up some 2K or epoxy and spray this thing down. So we're going to get that started. So I'll see y'all in the morning. All right, guys, it has been a couple days since we've been out here working on the C10, got called into work. So, you know, round trip to Atlanta. You know, trip down, stay in a hotel, and then trip back. And then I got back yesterday morning after working all night. I did not come out here. It's spitting snow a little. Got a big cold front coming through. But we're going to get back to work on here on our C10 a little bit today. I don't know how much I'm going to do. Like I said, it's supposed to be getting pretty cold. I think I'm just going to hit a few spots on this thing, and like I said, so we're going to start making it look like a porcupine and start working out some dents. About all we can do at the moment. All right, as y'all seen, we turned the side of this truck into a porcupine there and started banging out dents. Only one of the downsides of this stud gun, sometimes those studs, as you've seen, they don't stick real well. Sometimes they just pop off. But we did make some big improvements. Sorry. I did have a huge gap, almost a 1/4 inch between this and the side of the body. Maybe 3/16. Now it's down to maybe about a 1/16 of a gap right there. And it gets a little smaller. I mean, I can having issues with my studs sticking. You can see where they kept popping off. I'll probably sand that down some and try it again. Work a little bit more of this one out. Same thing down here. We've got it pretty close and straight. Most of this now would just take a skim coat of filler, as opposed to, before it would have been close to a 1/4 inch thick. Now the thickest would probably be as thick as this ruler, which is fine. So, that's big improvement on what we had as far as body work. Now we got to do this door up here as well. I mean, this is probably the worst of our damage. Whatever crease this really caught here in the door and pushed it in. I still got to strip it down. And we got to do the back here of the cab a little bit. Part of this, I don't even know if I can get to that behind that window. I've never really looked. No, it's doubled. But yeah, we'll have to use the stud gun right in there a little bit. And then we'll, of course, it's going to get a little bit of filler. I got a couple little spots here I need to go back. Stud popped off that one. I forgot to put one right here. But we got a lot of these little small pings out a lot better than it was. So I'm very happy with that. It's coming along. It's body work, right? How much fun can it be? But that's the process with these stud guns. You just, well, let me go. You can see here, let's go back here. This was pushed in just below this crease. The top of the crease was a little low. I'm not even on the picture. What in the hell is this thing doing? All right, sorry about that. It was a little low here, but it was due to this being creased in down here, pushed into this area. Pulling this out has actually fixed this upper part as well. But I started off with the studs pulling to the outside and to the lower part. And you kind of work your way towards the middle. At one point, I would just started going across. But I try to work the outer perimeter usually first on these, pull them out. Like I said, that one needs a little bit more work. I have before in the past, I ended up breaking out the bigger studs. The little studs were really popping loose. But in the past, when I've had issues with these studs, with these things breaking loose, I'd break out the MIG, and after I used the stud gun, I'd get the MIG and put a hard tack right there on the end of it. That held it, usually. So, I'm gonna sit back for a second and contemplate my next move, whether I want to start stripping that door. The only downside to stripping that door is right now the temperature's dropping. It's getting down into the teens tonight, and we've literally hit the point where the temperature just started plummeting. So with that being said, don't really want to open up the garage door because that's just going to let nothing but cold air in. I just now got a little warm in here, and if I go to start sanding all of this, I'm going to end up with a ton of dust in here. So I might just strip some of the areas where the dents are. Right here on, like on the cab, a little bit on the door. Just strip what I have to and start there before I strip the whole thing. Decisions. Or I could, actually first things first, I'm probably going to go ahead and work on this backside a little bit more. And then I know I said I was going to primer it and then put filler. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and do the filler on the bare metal. So I'll probably just break out my 80 grit DA get all this nice and scuffed up and cleaned up a little bit more and ready to hold that, put that filler on. So I think that's where we'll start, since I don't want to, little 80 on bare metal is one thing. Well, no, I don't know if I can do that. I don't have this place plumbed for air, so when I run my air, I have to come in through my door. Which leaves that door open. I might be able to run my air around through the front of the garage door and then come that way, but cold weather sucks, especially when you don't have your building fully prepped for it. Oh, decisions. Well, I'll tell you what, let me give it a few moments thought, and I'll be back with y'all instead of sitting here just rambling. Ow. All right, figured out my solution, what I'm gonna do. I just happened to remember I have this here, a little 5-inch portable sander that's electric. Forgot about it. The old lady uses it a lot for little woodwork projects. But we went ahead and popped all our studs loose. So now I'm gonna go ahead and scuff all this up real good with 80, because it's just been stripped without a Harbor Freight surface conditioning tool. So we're gonna get everything good and scuffed and ready for some primer. So let's get to it. All right, everybody, as y'all seen, we got this whole thing scuffed down. I wiped it down with alcohol. There was a couple places I guess I forgot to weld. There was 2 spot welds right here by the cab. I went ahead and got those. And then spot right back here where the bed pocket connected on the back, it was still had a little split there. And right here in this corner, it had just cracked. So we got all that welded up, got it wiped down. We're now ready to start spreading filler. But I've ran out of propane. My heater has died on me. I don't know if it's the camera picking up, but I can actually see my breath out here right now. Temperature's just dropping, so with it getting this cold out here, I don't want to spread the filler just yet. I'm probably going to unhook my bottle and go get another one here in just a little bit, or in the morning one. I think I'm going to call it quits for the day. I didn't do a whole lot out here today. It's just cold. Don't like the cold. I like it cool. I don't like it cold. Anyway, But yeah, we got this ready for, should just take a kind of a skim coat on most of those areas. We're not gonna skim coat the whole quarter panel or bedside. We're mainly gonna hit where I know there was damage, here, there was a little dent down here we had worked out. Same thing, we'll hit any of these little low spots, and up here. We'll get all that with a good skim coat. And then I've got some, basically it's like feather fill or slick sand, but it's House of Colors. Bought it for the 51, but we'll go ahead and use it on this bedside, and that should take care of any last little dips or low spots when we actually go to primer. And then we'll scuff sand all that down and then seal the top of it. So I do have one last little thing I do need to weld, I think. If I remember correctly, I know the other side has it. There's a start of a crack in the wheel well. I think it might be about right where my hand's at. The other side definitely has to have it. That one might not have. I don't remember. I think it might have just been starting. Either way, if it is, I'll double check, but we'll go ahead and weld it up. This bedside, we got to weld it up for sure. You can see it's got a good little crack right there in the wheel well. Not sure what that's about, what's causing it, but we'll take care of it on that other side. And right now, I think I'm gonna go in. So I'm gonna unhook my propane bottle, throw it in my truck. And I'm gonna go in there and I need to look up these wheel wells, these rear wheel wells. Like I said, I know they were 55 bucks each, but I need to see how much it's gonna cost to have them shipped and decide what. All right, y'all, it's the next day. We left off, I'd had this panel prepped to either go ahead and put filler on it or whatever. Still pretty cold out here. Temperature outside is like 14 degrees. I've had my little heater on out here for 30 or so minutes. It's getting warm, but it ain't, to me, it ain't warm enough to do the filler or primer, either or. So what I think I'm gonna start doing is I went ahead and got the other bedside, laid out on some sawhorses. We're gonna go ahead and start stripping some of the bad areas. We'll feather all that out, and that way we can get all that rust out from under this. And there's a couple little dents. There's one right there. But this side is actually in pretty good shape, other than the spots of surface rust there. Again, apologize for the heater noise. And so this one, we do have to weld this up. And we got a little spot here. So we're gonna strip all this stuff down. We're not gonna strip it completely. Like I said, we're gonna just hit the real worst spots. Everything else will get a good scuffing for primer to stick to. And but we'll strip down anywhere where it needs it. So that's what I'm gonna start on right now while the shop's still warming up. So let's get to it. All right, guys. As y'all seen, we've did a lot of sanding, some wire wheeling. Got most of the rust off most of these areas. Feathered out most of the paint or places it was stripped. Anywhere I seen like a chip or something, we went in and feathered that area out. I did drill a hole right here because this is where that crack was. Drilled a little bit too big of a hole. But regardless, that's what you're supposed to do. If you got a piece of metal that's cracking, at the end of the crack, you're supposed to drill a hole, and it kind of relieves the stress. And it will actually stop the crack from progressing. So now with that done, I can actually get out the stud gun. We can fix a few of the small dents on the sides. Top's gonna be a little bit more work. I'm gonna have to put in a patch down here around this stake pocket. It's pretty rough actually, right? I mean, this thing's been beat up and bent and all this right around this area. I think it would just be easier if I just made a new top cap here. I think it'd be a lot less work overall, and there'll definitely be less filler there. So this part, like I said, we got a few dents to work out, and I still want to treat these areas, these little rust ring areas like we had on the side of the other bed. I have some I don't even know how you pronounce this stuff. That green liquid you put on rust, we'll get it down into the pores, wipe off the rest, and that should stop any more rust we have. That way these are, protected, I guess you'd say. So, last night before I went in, I was talking about the wheel wells, which my camera's sitting on one of them right now. I said I can get them for 55 bucks each, and that all depended on what shipping was. So to buy 2 of those right now, just the price of the wheel wells is basically $112, we'll say, plus tax. By the time I have them shipped here, it's going to be just right at $200. It's $195 or $96 and some change. So before we go that route, I think I'm going to pull these wheel wells off, and we're going to try to bang out most of the dents. See if we can make these here work. Well, the camera's following me, so I'll just go to the other side. Da, 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 da. I mean, you can see these, they're beat up. There's a few big dents that have caused a lot of this, but a lot of this here will pop up. But that's the plan. Like I said, I still don't want to spray any primer or do my body filler just yet, just because of the temperature in here. But I can work on some of these dents. I mean, I'm getting it decently warm. I turned the heater off just so y'all could hear me better. But I'm thinking what I want to do is prep everything on the bed I can, put the bed back together, and prime everything all at once. We'll stand the bed up. And that way I can prime it, seal it. I can do everything with it all together. I think it'll just be better. So that's kind of my plan. So I think my next thing, like I said, I'm going to continue working on this one a little bit more to get a few of the dents out, which I might do off camera. Actually, I got to go put my GoPro batteries all on the charger. This cold has kind of zapped the batteries. In the heat, my camera overheats. In the cold, the batteries go quick. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I know there's a happy median. But, yeah, so that's the plan. Work on this a little bit, then we'll get those wheel wells pulled off. And I need to flip these things over. We got to prep the inside as well. And like I said, the inside of the bed is getting that N1 coating from the Sweet Patina. Not sponsored, just that's what I plan on using. And so for that, it's just get rid of all the rust we can, get a good prep, good coat of primer, and then that stuff will go right on top. So it won't be too bad. Still need to, we got some dents to get out of this rear panel here. It's got like 2 bolts holding it together, but you can see we got a little bit of a gap there at the bottom. So, but that's not bad. Inside panels are pretty good. Like I said, our worst part are our wheel wells here and there, and then that inner flange, and you can see that post there is very rusty on this one. So we'll end up wire wheeling this one the best we can, and I'll coat it with that same stuff. Ospo, that's what we'll be using. Anybody that's ever used it, I mean, it's good stuff. It'll be used on the Mercury chassis, and anything that's been real rusty and you can't get it all off, that's a great thing to do, that Ospo. So anyway, let's get back to working out some dents. Some of this I'll probably do a little bit off camera. I know it gets repetitive. It's just going to be the same thing as that other side, stud gun and pulling and popping. And I will show working on at least one of these wheel wells. Driver's side is the worst. Bed floor is good. We won't have to do much to it. It'll be just sand it down and spray it. So anyway, let's get to it. All right, you guys, off camera, I went ahead and made a whole new end cap on this piece. It goes from the seam here over, and then this piece here. I still got to add a little 90 fold on this one. It's folded down on the bottom, goes underneath, and I got a little fold here, but I need a little extra material just right there. And we went ahead, And got our that crack we had here, we got it welded up. Got a little pinhole I need to go back and hit, but that's fixed. So little progress there. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull this wheel well off now, and we'll start banging out some dents. All right, y'all see we got this one we knocked it off. Went in and gave it a real quick hit with a wire wheel just to get some of the main debris and dirt out. But from this side here, I mean, you can really see all the creases and stuff like that. So, good place to start knocking like stuff like that out. I'm gonna start banging away. Can't record too much of it. Like I said, I've only got my little handheld here. My GoPro, I'm on my last battery for it. All the other ones are charging, so I'm gonna kind of knock this out. So I'll be back with y'all in a few. All right, guys. Got this thing on the floor, beat on it a little bit, and then I broke out my planishing hammer. I finally rerouted my air hose so I could keep the door shut. But we've got this thing looking a lot better. It still dips in a little bit on these spots. I'm not sure why. But I got a lot of the damage out of here. I mean, it ain't perfect. It's still a little lumpy. But I mean, there were sections here that were just completely caved in. So, I mean, we got a lot of it shaped back. So I guess for a driver, I think this will be good enough. We'll clean them up, primer them. We might put just a little bit of slickum on it. See if we can make them look a little better, but I'm not that worried about it. This was an old work truck, so we don't want it to lose all of its character. Still got to do this other one. This one over here is not nearly as bad. All right, guys, I came back out here after lunch. I didn't really have my GoPro batteries with me, so I didn't really record anything. But took the side back off the bed. So we, you can see we took the wheel house off. Got the planishing hammer out. Which planished a lot of this out. Then I broke out my DA since I got my air in here now. And we've sanded a lot of this down. I sanded the whole, the outside of this and this inside all with 180, all scuffed. Currently what I'm working on is any like deep scratches, especially on the outside, not so much in here. Getting those all the way down, feathered out. Not as much worried about it on these inner panels. Like I said, they're getting that textured coating. And I have started sanding on this one here as well. Trying to get everything ready and prepped for primer. I still got to pull that one off and do all the body work on it. Hammering a few dents out on this one. I've got one thing I've got to figure out how to, or do it with one hand. Sorry. This thing's got a little bit of a bow in it, not bad. So I got to try to get that straightened out. Same way with the other side. This side here on the bottom, this is quite crusty looking. I've hit them with a wire wheel a little bit, but my wire wheel is, well, it's done. I've got it down to nubs. Got 10 pack of new ones on the way. But I've got to get that little bit of rust on this one and that other one treated. And we had some on this inner lip. So I've got to get that treated, and I got a little welding left to do. A couple of places I had self-tappers, 3 right here. I've got to, a little gap here I've got to weld up where I patched that piece earlier. And a couple more holes over here from some self-tappers. Other than that, this one is just about ready for primer. I want to clean up in here real good. Clean inside the wheel well real well. Of course, I got a little rust right there we got to clean up. Just light surface rust, a little sand, and just take care of most of that. On this other side, sorry, a little dust there, a little dusty in here. This one was starting to crack like that other one was. Right there. It's not come around the lip yet. So I'm gonna try to get a drill bit and drill right here in this corner. Where's my, there it is. I'm gonna try to get and drill right here in this corner and then weld this all up. But this one here is also basically prepped, other than I just still got to sand the inside of this one like I just did this one over here. Which I need to, I got some body dollies outside, kind of like you saw horses. I gotta bring those in, that way I can prop that other one up, get as much of this done as I can. I think I've kind of made a decision about something. Well, it's dark. You can get over here where y'all can see me better. I have 4 cars in my garage at the moment that I'm working on. There's the C10, my 51, the Bronco in front of me, and then the 40 Mercury. Once this C10 is out of here and this Bronco's out of here, I don't want no more than 3 cars in here at a time. I just need more area to work on things. Like right now, I'm kind of in between cars. So once the C10's done, we're gonna rearrange the shop. I need like a little welding table, station, fixture table, whatever. So that's kind of the plan. I mean, I'll have more room in here once I get that front clip onto the car, which is something we're gonna be doing as part of this one. Like I said, I'm getting all these parts prepped primer, and I'm gonna take a day and finish prepping the inside inner fenders on that front clip and anything that needs primered on the inside of it. That way I can put it on the car. And that'll free up a lot of room. Matter of fact, it'll free up that dolly too. And I can actually put the bed on that dolly. Make life a little simpler for me. My compressor just shut off, which is good. I need to order my wheels soon. I think I said earlier, those 15s were rubbing the brake caliper or something. It's not the brake caliper, I don't know what I was thinking. They're rubbing the lower control arms. When you do that 3-inch drop spindles and the drop coils, the lower control arm will end up being a set of 15s. You might be okay with 16s, but we're going bigger wheels anyways. So I probably need to go ahead and get those ordered soon. That way I can make this thing a roller. I mean, I'd like to find a set just to borrow temporary, but you know, it is what it is. I don't want to have to cut and notch on those control arms any. So right now, like I said, I got to get another wire wheel. It's just a whole lot of sanding, which is kind of boring to watch. I'll do a little bit of them time lapse, but that's mainly what this one is, just prepping all these panels for primer on this bed, getting it ready. We'll get the bed done and prepped and get it in primer, and then we'll start on the cab, and you know, one section at a time. So it'll be the bed, the cab, then the front clip. All different, you know, we'll do them in 3 stages. So I think I'm done for the night. I've been running my little heater all day. I just filled this propane tank up, and I already know it's getting kind of low. And we still got a couple days of cold left, and if I want to work at her some more, I need to conserve my propane. So yeah, I'm gonna go in for the night and get warm. And you know, if I don't get called in, I'll be back out here tomorrow. It's starting to get dark right now, and the temperature really drops when it gets dark. So anyways, I'll see y'all either in the morning or when I get back from my next trip. All right, guys, it's been a couple days since I've actually been in the garage. I ended up getting called out for work at the next morning. I mean, I got a turn back, and this is the day after that, but I'm actually getting ready to be called out again, and this time I will be gone for a couple days. So, it means I've not made any more progress on our C10. You know, everything is still where I left it.
But I need to get this video edited. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this one here. We got that bedside over there. It's all prepped, it's ready for its filter, other than only thing left to do on it is treat this rusted area right in here and weld up that little seam and a couple little pinholes. We have to do the same area here on that other bedside. I think all of its holes are welded down, and on that bedside over there, we need to, sand and scuff its inner panel, fix its wheel well here to match. And I had started sanding on this one here. So, no point in y'all watching me do all this stuff again. So by the next video y'all watch, I should have this one here prepped, this one here prepped, and we'll start doing our body filler and our primer and all that fun stuff. Just continue on with the body work. And of course I still got to do the bed floor. But that's where we're at the moment. Sorry, got a little cough here. We've, well, that's where we're at. That's all I can say. We'll end up, luckily here in a couple days, like today it's getting, the low this morning was almost like 7 degrees. And it is getting up to, back up in the 30s today. Here in a couple days we're going to be getting up into the mid 40s and actually into the low 50s a couple days. With that temperature and with my heater, I can get it definitely warm enough in here to do the filler and the primer. So that'll work out. Be gone a couple days, come back, weather will be a little more cooperative, and we'll get back to work on this body work and getting this thing knocked out. So as always, I appreciate y'all watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.